interesting conversation with Masvidal. I didn't speak to George directly. George had sent out a tweet to me. I sent George a text message. I end up on the phone with a mutual friend. So I'm going to continue this story by saying I talked to Masvidal, but in fairness, talked to another guy and George talked to him back, and so that's how we talked to each other. But Masvidal was annoyed. Masvidal was annoyed with me because I had put out a piece along the lines a couple of weeks ago, but along the lines of, hey, George, zip it and just go fight. And he didn't like that. He's going, hey, wait a minute. Where's that coming from? This is my business. This is my deal. And I think that you should support me and so should everybody else. Okay, we're similar to saying the same thing. The fan in me is coming out. I've seen every one of George Masvidal's fights, whether they were in the UFC or some smaller promotion, all the way to backyard stuff that I watched on YouTube. But if Masvidal has competed, I have seen it. I will continue to see. I'm a fan. There is a little bit more, though, to my contention of Masvidal. Go do this. Look, if you want to be a world champion, you have to be given the opportunity to fight for the championship. That is a very hard thing that you cannot just earn your way to. There is no competitive architecture within combat sports, boxing as well, that gets you to a world title fight. There are commonalities that other number one contenders had, and therefore people will identify those commonalities and come out and say, if you do this and you do this and you do this, you'll fight for a championship. They will largely be right. But I am also right to tell you, you cannot just go earn it. You cannot just kick certain doors in, flip certain tables over, and beat certain and be guaranteed it. Tell Matt Brown, who won 7 straight. Tell Damian Maia, who won 7 straight. Tell Leon Edwards, who won 8 straight. That's just not how it works. It's just not. It takes a little bit more. And a lot of it has to do with timing and opportunity and somebody that says yes. Okay. Excuse me, but once we understand those things, then you do have a big question of, do you want to fight for the championship? Masvidal was the fighter of the year with a meteoric rise. That is a quote that was used on ESPN, which means it's official, quite frankly. Something is said about a sports athlete on the worldwide leader, that becomes the official statement. I don't know that Masvidal could duplicate a year like he just had. I just don't know that he could. There was a lot of opportunities there. From changing the weight class all the way to the dramatic piece of theater with 3 pieces of soda with Leon. All the way down to the flying knee, all the way down to being called out in California by Nate Diaz, who anointed him the challenger in that fight, to being placed in the Mecca with The Rock coming, with the belt on. Like, look, there was a lot that happened there that no matter how good you are or how many more fights you go on and win, I don't know that you could duplicate. The point that I'm trying to make is Masvidal set the bar so damn high for himself. How do you jump over that thing again? So let's just say that you don't. Let's just say that you don't. It's more likely you're not going to, just in terms of opportunity, not wins. I see Masvidal beat 3 guys up in a row plenty of time. Go look at his record on SureDog. Masvidal's beat up 3 guys in a row plenty of different times, but there was something special on those 3. There was something special about how he did it. All the way to the Wonder Boy fight, which wasn't terribly going his way until it did. I mean, it was dramatic. It was theater. He had changed weights. He stepped up. Boom, he gets in the dust up in the back. I'm just saying there was a lot on that snowball, and they said, you want to fight for the title. The reason I say that is if the road back to the title has to look like the road to the title offer in the first place, we're very, very unlikely to get there. So when I come out with a message of just go do the fight, that doesn't mean, hey, Masvidal, I don't want you to get paid. What do you tell me I don't want you to get paid? You have a contract. I love your contract. You get to decide whether you do. Apparently you do not. But my encouragement to go out and do it comes from you getting everything that you want. Not only the opportunity, not only the paycheck that comes with it, the points that come with the back end, the renegotiation when the whole thing's done, but the clock's ticking. I don't know that I see a scenario. Look, if you sit down with somebody and they're telling you the value that they are willing to pay for a fight that happens to be a main event world championship fight, if you say no to that and you have an ace up your sleeve that you have a bigger fight, you have a bigger card to throw on the table to play, that was the time to play it. If it didn't get played there, we are then left with the idea that if we've reached a roadblock for the pinnacle, which is the main event championship against Usman, anything else is less, which means anything's going to be valued at less. At least under that logic. So when I'm telling Masvidal to fight and he thinks I'm pushing back against him getting his wishes, man, I see it a different way. I stand by my advice. I don't know how much you were off on an offer. I'm going to make numbers up. Let's say you were off. They wanted to give you a third of what you wanted. Okay, great. How many times are you willing to give me that? Are you willing to give me that 3 times so then I become whole, or now are we 9 times off because it's 3 times 3 in the math and the goalposts just keep moving? I don't know these types of things. I'm just offering for you. Sitting around and doing nothing is going to generate you nothing. And in this sport, it moves very quickly. Masvidal was one of the guys 2 years ago. Masvidal was one of the guys a year ago. Masvidal is possibly the biggest star in the sport right now. He really is. If you want to say he's not great, tell me who is. I know you're going to say Conor. And you'll likely be right. But the mere fact that we're having this argument tells you how big Masvidal is. Masvidal can't miss right now. He grew some hair. He put hands of stone in his court. What's he doing differently? Oh, he beat 3 guys? I've seen him beat 3 guys. What's he doing differently? What happened? I don't know. I don't have the answer for it. A lot of it was timing. A lot of it was appeal. A lot of it was he got over. For me to come out with the idea of go out there and go to work, stay busy. Don't forget, George, don't forget this. You're making an argument. It's not a bad argument. Another side has an argument. It's not a bad argument. Here's your problem. This side also gets to make the decision. It's not as though there's a disinterested third party known as a judge that is going to hear your argument and hear their argument and then rule in an arbitration. It's not like that. You're making your case to the side who also gets to make the decision. I stand by it. Is it the fan in me? Yes, I want to see Masvidal. Okay, fine. I want to see Masvidal. So what? So what? But I would also offer, as a guy who's known Masvidal for 2 decades and cares that Masvidal gets the best for Masvidal, listen, this is about money. I got a great way to make money. Go to work.